You've probably experienced this before. Someone texts you back instantly every single day, and eventually you stop caring. But then another person replies unpredictably, sometimes warm, sometimes distant, sometimes they disappear completely, and somehow you can't stop thinking about them. Your brain keeps replaying every interaction like a broken loop. Why? Because your mind is not addicted to certainty. It's addicted to uncertainty. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand the exact psychological loop that makes people obsessed, and why the human brain treats unpredictable attention like a drug. But here's the scary part. Most people trigger this loop accidentally, the people who truly understand it. They can completely control attention, attraction, and emotional attachment without saying much at all. The brain does chase what it already has. Here's the first thing most people get wrong about attraction psychology. They think people become obsessed because someone is perfect. That's not true. People become obsessed because their brain hasn't solved the emotional puzzle yet. The human brain is basically a prediction machine. It constantly wants certainty, patterns, closure. So when someone becomes emotionally unpredictable, the brain starts working overtime trying to figure them out. And this is where dopamine and attraction become deeply connected. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. It's not. Dopamine is actually the anticipation chemical. Your brain releases more dopamine before the reward than after it. That means uncertainty creates stronger emotional intensity than guaranteed attention. And this is exactly why intermittent reinforcement is so powerful. The slot machine effect nobody notices now. This next part might surprise you. Casinos figured this out decades ago. Slot machines don't reward you every time. If they did, your brain would get bored almost immediately. Instead, they reward you randomly. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you almost win. And that unpredictability keeps people pulling the lever again and again. This is called intermittent reward psychology, and the exact same mechanism happens in human relationships. One moment someone gives you intense attention. The next moment they become emotionally unavailable. Your brain starts chasing the emotional reward because it doesn't know when it's coming again. That uncertainty creates obsession. Not logic, not compatibility, not even love sometimes. Just the dopamine loop created by unpredictable emotional reinforcement. And this is where most people make a mistake. They think obsession means deep connection. Sometimes it's actually unresolved uncertainty. Why mixed signals feel so addictive? Have you ever noticed how clear communication feels calm, but mixed signals feel unforgettable? That's because certainty relaxes the brain. Uncertainty activates it. When someone sends inconsistent emotional signals, your brain starts searching for meaning in every tiny detail. What did they mean by that text? Why were they warm yesterday but cold today? Are they losing interest? The mind starts looping. This is the psychology of obsession in real time. And social media made this even worse. Someone views your story but doesn't reply. They like one photo but ignore another. They disappear for hours and suddenly come back with intense energy. Each tiny, unpredictable interaction acts like a dopamine trigger. Your brain starts craving the next emotional hit. And here's where things get interesting. The less closure the brain gets, the stronger the loop becomes. The Zeigarnik effect. Why incomplete things haunt us? There's a psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect. It basically means unfinished experiences stay trapped in your mind longer than completed ones. That's why cliffhangers work. That's why unfinished conversations replay in your head at 2 a.m. And that's why emotionally confusing people become impossible to forget. Your brain hates incomplete emotional stories. It wants resolution, closure, answers. So when someone creates emotional inconsistency, your mind keeps returning to them trying to complete the loop. This is one of the biggest attraction triggers nobody talks about. The brain confuses emotional tension with importance. If someone creates enough uncertainty, your mind starts assigning them massive emotional value, even if they haven't actually earned it. And honestly, that realization changes how you see relationships forever. Scarcity makes the brain overvalue people. Now let's talk about another hidden mechanism behind emotional addiction psychology. Scarcity. Humans naturally overvalue things that feel limited. That's why rare products sell faster. That's why exclusive access feels valuable. And that's why emotionally unavailable people often seem more attractive. The brain interprets scarcity as importance. If attention feels difficult to obtain, the dopamine reward system amplifies its value. But here's the dangerous part. Your brain can become attached to the chase itself, not the person, the chase. That's why some people lose interest the second they finally get consistency, because their brain wasn't addicted to connection. It was addicted to uncertainty and pursuit. And once certainty arrived, the dopamine crash began. Why social media supercharges obsession? Social media is basically a dopamine machine. Every notification creates anticipation. Every delayed reply creates uncertainty. Every random interaction acts like intermittent reinforcement. Think about it. Why do people obsessively check their phones after sending a message? Because the brain is waiting for the emotional reward, and platforms know this. That's why notifications are unpredictable. That's why algorithms deliver random validation. Sometimes you get massive engagement, sometimes almost none. The unpredictability keeps users emotionally hooked. Now apply that to attraction. A single text notification from someone you're emotionally attached to can trigger a huge dopamine spike, especially if they've been inconsistent before. Your brain starts associating them with emotional reward unpredictability, which strengthens attachment psychology dramatically. And this is where most people unknowingly trap themselves. They mistake emotional stimulation for genuine emotional compatibility. Those are not the same thing. The difference between love and dopamine addiction, this next part is important. Because not all obsession is healthy. Sometimes what feels like love is actually emotional dependency mixed with dopamine conditioning. Healthy connection feels stable, safe, grounded. But dopamine-driven obsession feels chaotic. You overanalyze everything. Your mood depends on their attention. Small interactions feel emotionally massive, and silence feels painful. That's not necessarily love. That's your nervous system getting trapped inside a reward loop, and understanding this changes everything. Because once you recognize the mechanism, the illusion weakens. You stop romanticizing unpredictability. You stop confusing anxiety with chemistry. And you start valuing emotional consistency instead of emotional confusion. But here's where things get really interesting. The people who create healthy long-term attraction still use uncertainty. Just differently, healthy uncertainty versus toxic uncertainty. A lot of people hear this psychology and think, so I should become emotionally unavailable. No. That's where people misunderstand human behavior psychology. Toxic uncertainty creates anxiety. Healthy uncertainty creates excitement. There's a huge difference. Healthy uncertainty means mystery, growth, spontaneity, and emotional depth. It means people continue discovering new sides of you over time. It means your life has purpose outside the relationship. It means you're emotionally secure, not emotionally manipulative. Because sustainable attraction doesn't come from confusion. It comes from emotional depth combined with unpredictability and experience. New adventures, new conversations, new energy. The brain loves novelty. That's why long-term relationships fail when everything becomes emotionally repetitive. And this is where most people make a mistake. They focus only on attention. But attention alone never creates obsession. Emotional contrast does. Why emotional highs feel impossible to forget. The brain remembers emotional contrast more than emotional stability. That's why intense experiences become unforgettable. Think about movies. The scenes people remember most are emotional peaks, not the calm middle moments. Relationships work similarly. When someone creates emotional highs after periods of uncertainty, the contrast amplifies dopamine release. The reward feels bigger because the brain wasn't sure it was coming. This is literally how intermittent reinforcement shapes emotional memory. And once the brain associates someone with emotional intensity, it becomes very hard to detach from them, even if the relationship is unhealthy. Because emotionally intense memories feel psychologically important, but intensity and compatibility are completely different things. And understanding that distinction might save you years of emotional confusion. The real secret behind lasting attraction, here's the truth nobody tells you. The people who become unforgettable aren't always the loudest or the most attractive. or even the most available. They understand emotional rhythm. They know how to create curiosity without manipulation, presence without desperation, connection without overexposure. And most importantly, they don't make people obsessed by constantly chasing attention. They make people curious by having depth, unpredictability, and emotional self-control. Because the brain values what keeps unfolding, not what reveals everything instantly. And once you understand the psychological loop behind obsession, you start seeing it everywhere. In relationships, social media, marketing, entertainment, even your own habits. The loop was never magic, it was neuroscience. So the next time you can't stop thinking about someone, ask yourself one question. Do I truly like this person? Or is my brain addicted to the uncertainty they create? If this video changed the way you see attraction psychology, then you'll definitely want to watch the next one, where I break down why emotionally unavailable people seem so attractive to the human brain. And if you enjoy these deep dives into human behavior, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next psychological breakdown.